Good morning, all of
Thank you.
you. I'm a professor of civil law at the Faculty of Law, Spanish National Open University, UNED. The aim of this webinar is presenting Hermes Project, a box for providing assistance to refugees and migrants concerning their higher education. Hermes is an old project that was operating in UNED from 2008-2010. So it was working for 3 years. Hermes was set up by my colleague, Mrs. Munoz, who is not here today, is absent, and she won't be able to explain Hermes project, so I will present the main objectives instead. Today, we were interested in redeveloping it with Spanish Refugees Aid Commission, Mrs. Sirur, as a representative of this non-governmental organization, and she will attend this webinar also for explaining the gaps and the need for concerted actions in the field of refugees, migrants, higher education. Well, in short, the three institutions will be signing a framework partnership agreement in order to develop a number of initiatives, amongst them a new edition of Hermes. Well, let me explain why the three of us, as representatives of three different institutions, come together. There are, the reason is that since 2015, there are several texts, both at international and European level, stating that educators and NGOs together should face the different issues arising from refugees and migrants' higher education. The main documents in this respect are: in the international side, the document 2030 ASD, i.e. 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by world leaders in September 2015 at an historic United Nations summit. At the European Union level is the 2015 the second joint report of the Council and the Commission on the implementation of the strategic framework for European cooperation in the education and training, ET 2020, which drew up by the Council in 2009. Well, according to both documents, the education and training systems should provide long life learning opportunities for all. Goal number 4 of 2030 Agenda, ASD, under the name Quality Education, emphasizes the need to ensure inclusive quality education for all and promote lifelong learning. Strategic objective number 3 of the ET 2020 on the right side in this slide, under the deadline promoting equity, social cohesion, and active citizenship, reads in the same sense. Following the later document, two joint reports were published in 2012 and, as I've said to you, 2015. In the 2015 joint report, already in chapter number 1, there is a clear reference that it is an urgent task for European Union to coordinate a response to the migration flow. And further on, in paragraph 4, that the education and training system face the challenge of ensuring equal access to higher quality education, in particular by reaching out to the most disadvantaged and integrating people with diverse backgrounds, including adequately integrating newly arrived migrants. The question is, by which means? The means proposed in 2030 AEST for the 4 goal is replied at the end of the document. And amongst other means, can you see, urge NGOs to partner with youth and other groups to foster the importance of education within local communities. The other means are ask our governments to place education as a priority in both policy and practice, or encourage the private sector to invest resources in the development of educational tools and facilities. As you know, there are a good connections in the last development document between educators in higher education and NGOs in this field of refugees and migrants. And this is a good way because there are other means to add to another means that are described in the Refugee Education Global Review, a document made by UNHCR. There are two means: scholarship and credit programs and guide systems. So, urge NGOs to partner with our actions in higher education. On the other hand, you can see the 2015 joint report indicates other means to develop, of course, the adult learning in order to provide an opportunity for further education or retraining, and increases the opportunities for the migrants to establish themselves in the labor market and integrate into society. Facilitating the effective acquisition of the language of the host country and supporting the member state in their integration actions, for instance, through including joint analysis, peer learning, conferences, and dissemination of good practice. Why not? But at the end, in this report, it is said we have to stronger links between education, business, and research, as well as the involvement of social partners and civil society. Well, concluding, we already have an answer to to the two questions underlined in the middle of this slide that derive from the two main documents I have referred to. On 12 April, Mrs. Lane, Andy Lane, of the Open University, United Kingdom, reminded us that the ambition as educators about the education were for all, but the means to make it happen are critical. So we hope the Hermes project, redesigned with the assistance of CIR, to be a suitable tool for improving refugees and migrants' higher education and achieving the goals identified by both United Nations and European Union. Now, let me explain a little bit because of the accent of my colleague, Mrs. Munoz. Excuse me. Excuse me. I lost my, the Hermes project. The target group are the migrants who need counseling and advice on academic, professional, and labor issues, and have one of the following profiles. First, migrants with university studies in their original country who require orientation about homologation/recognition processes. And second profile is about migrants with professional education who want to follow a higher education. There are A, B, C, and D actions for developing the target group's needs. Action A, guidance office for migrants in higher education. It's critical, it's essential. The second one is tutored courses for homologation foreign attainments. Action 3, C, it's about technical glossary about university specialties. And finally, the last action was preparation course of university access. Now, I give the floor to Ms. Zero, who will explain the position of CIR and his interest in participating in the new project.
Okay, thank you, Maria Teresa. Good morning, all of you, and thank you very much for the opportunity to explain who is CEA, what is the interest in this project. If it's okay for you, first of all, I will explain a little bit. CEA is the Spanish Commission for. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to use the presentation because it's very long, so I will leave it so Lizzie can upload later. I will explain better, just a little bit. CEA is the Spanish Commission for Refugees, was founded in 1979, nearly 40 years already. It's an organization, is independent and humanitarian action organization with more than 37 years of history. What is our mission? Protect refugees, asylum seekers, stateless people with vulnerable migrants. We provide legal, social and reception services free of charge, always free of charge, of course. Just as a date, in the last 10 years, they provided assistance to more than 300,000 refugees, asylum seekers, and vulnerable migrants. Assume we do legal service, psychological and social services, and programs. We have some programs to promote the education and employment of refugees. That's the action we do on one hand, but we always explain the same. THEAR works in two main lines. One was the ones I have explained already. Maria Teresa is not going to work. It's very, very long, the presentation, so don't worry.
No problem. Follow, please.
Okay. We attend refugee people. This is one of the lines, and the other line or way of working is that we do advocacy. What is advocacy for us? That as the actions to influence decisions at the political and institutional level. We publish in research such as the annual report on situation of refugees in Spain. We also do campaigns using media and social networks, of course. We also meeting with members of the Congress and political parties in Spain. So we try to change the laws that they don't protect very properly the human rights of the refugees people. I don't know if you are understanding me because my English is like that, but another advocacy action we do is public speaking in media. On one hand, we work with refugees directly, and on the other hand, we work with the society, Spanish society. So we can do sensibilization. Is alright, sensibilization, yes. Education for the development, and advocate to change. We try to do a social change. To carry on this explication, I always have to explain what is a refugee. So we understand with people are we working with. Refugee is those with a well-founded fear of being persecuted in their country for reasons of ethnic group, religion, nationality, political opinions, gender or sexual orientation, and the other group is belonging to a particular social group. As you see, there is no war reason, but war reason was included in this belonging to a particular social group. So you can make an idea. The asylum application in Spain can be a long process. The law say that it will take 6 months. So the state respond you if they give you the refugee state or not. But in the reality, the time takes very long time, from 6 months and 2 years. So the media is around 2 years, 1 year and 10 months. So you can imagine during this time how difficult it is for refugee people to live and to adaptarse. I don't know how to say adaptarse. to adapt to the new society. Is the most difficult thing for them is to prove that they were fear of being persecuted. The other thing very difficult for them is to adapt to the new society. So in there we work in the empowerment, so trying to them to get more autonomy every month, step by step. There are, in this adaptation, there are two things very, very important for everybody, but above all for them that are more vulnerable. That is the job and the education. What items or what things can give more autonomy to a person to have a job and the opportunity to carry on your education, higher education, on it, maybe not carry on, but start it, because have leave your country just in the time you were start to go to the university. A lot of people is coming with 18, 19 years old, or 21, when they were in the middle of the higher studies. So to have the opportunity to carry on with these studies or start a new one, or maybe readaptate their professional career, is one of the most important things we can provide them. It's the only way we find it's the only way you can start by zero. I don't know if this expression is alright, but you have to start a new life. So education is a tool very, very important for them. I don't know how to explain it better. This kind of project, like Hermes project, for us is a great news when we know the project, when we meet Maria Teresa and Pilar, and we start to know more about Hermes project. We realize that this is the kind of project we need to take in our program to assist in this social and legal progress with the refugees people. Maybe Maria Teresa can help me to explain what's the I don't know how to say that, but if you hear them when they say, for a doctor, I was studying being a teacher in my country, I planned my future, and suddenly I have to leave everything, not only home, friends, family, also my dreams, also my plans. This is very hard. So when you give them one little light, like a little open, a little door that they can open again, change. They change the face, they change the behavior, they change the way to behave in the new society they are living. So we have proof that when you give opportunities to higher education, and when you give opportunities to find a job, the adaptation is easier. It's easier and it's effective. That is the most important thing, to have an effective adaptation in the. So if you have any question that I can answer. Lizzie, Maria Teresa, is someone there?
Okay, could you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Cristina, for your explanation about here at our Spanish Refugees Aid Commission. And well, this is the point. Your participation on our project, our whole idea of Hermes project, is essential. I explained to you the lines, working lines, and means by which our international side and European Union side are interested, because at least you know exactly what is the current state of refugees and migrants. We are educators in higher education, of course, but we need to know previously to work what is the state of migrants and refugees.
Okay.
You, as a representative of your NGO, you will be able to know a feedback about education in this field, and it's essential, crucial for us, because, for instance, I can build a great course of higher education for migrants and refugees, but if I can your figures, your, well, in general, your background, it's sure that fail it. Um, and well, that's our relationship right now. In principle, we have in common uh, diverse actions for developing in the future. I can to mention two programs radio that we have taping the other day in the Radio UNED, and in our framework of mutual cooperation, we have right now two actions so important. We we have two radio programs. Um, in the first one, we explain you and other people of your association at Hermes Project, and in the second one, you explain exactly what is the situation of refugees for gender. So that's for us, for professors and for students in our university, so important. Your point of view is and was in these little actions so important. Um, I think both radio programs we upload in our Empower website, and of course in Canal UNED, radio of UNED. So your opinion, your views, your background, your all of you are so important to build something real, something on the land for refugees and migrants in higher education. I think when I am seeing your website, CR website, you have to work or to adapt your work lines for exactly approach refugees to the higher education. And well, this is a challenge for you, and it will be a challenge for us, UNED and Foundation. And we are very happy for our future cooperation, Cristina.
Me too, and Maria Teresa, I have to say, can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
I have to say that every day, some colleague come to my seat where I'm sitting, where I'm working, to ask me if we have any contract or any new, saying that every day the colleague come to me to ask if there is any opportunity for the refugee people they are attending to start a higher education in any university with any kind of scholarship or something like that, because for them it's very difficult to convalidate documents, to get information adapted to their situation every day. So we have a lot of people waiting for starting different higher education.
Yeah,
So imagine how welcome is is
yeah,
being.
thank you, Cristina. This is why the first action in the Hermes project is guidance office for migrants. It is necessary to inform migrants about homologations, process, and etc. There are two directives so important in this area, so it is difficult to understand at the first time for migrants and for professor outside of this question. So it is important to inform with personal specialized in these matters. And well, one thing I would like to emphasize is that it is necessary to facilitate in acquisition of language of the host country, because if the migrant doesn't have the language of the host country, maybe it's not he is not prepared for developing all other skills in education, above all in higher education. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Well, this is the first stone or the first
barrier. Yes, it's the first barrier they found. Yes, they find.
So through this host language, I think will be easy to learn cultural and social behavior for migrants. You understand? And well, the European dimension. Yeah, excuse me. The European dimension of migration underlines said that in our integration actions should have a joint analysis, peer learning, conferences, and disseminations of good practice. In the future, I can see that your organization sent to us a lot of data for analysis about your migrants and refugees in order to prepare scholarship programs and different courses for integration. And there are other actions, as I said to you, for instance, the dissemination of good practice, guides and other actions will be very important to inform exactly what are the steps the step by step in the process of integration.